over $200 million per year. If he didn't have an Instagram, but was still a great soccer player, he would probably get like $30 million a year or something.
I'm done. The pie's finished. It's January 3rd. I'm ready to be pieless.
Good. You got to add some ice cream to that mix. Vanilla ice
On
cream with the
pumpkin
pumpkin pie.
What's going on? Welcome back to Dreams Life Can Buy. My name is Tommy Jordan. We got Darren Chris over there, and we got another exciting episode for you today. We're bringing in the new year. How you feeling, Darren?
We're ringing it in this time, Tommy. First episode of the new year. It's always good to go into a new year with the new mindset, new outlook on life, and just a lot of times feeling like a new person.
You know what? It's true. Yeah, it is true. And we talked a lot last few weeks about getting that momentum going into the new year. But it's funny. It does still feel like a reset. You know, even though that ball, you feel like it's already, that snowball is already growing and going down that hill and it's getting bigger and bigger. But you still feel like, okay, I got this. There's some tweaks I need to make. I don't know. It's something about just a fresh start. Can you imagine if there was never a new year and it was just one big lifespan?
I mean, it basically is. We just kind of implemented this calendar into the world, so there doesn't have to be a new year. Some people maybe that don't have a calendar never know what day or month it is. So their life is just one continuous cycle, and they just realize one day they're a little older than they were a while ago. But I mean, it is a reset for most people because of, first of all, I have heard a lot of people say, don't try to make a new year a new thing. Don't wait till the new year to start new goals and all this. But in reality, most normal people have to go through the holiday season. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, there's a lot going on. There's family things. There's events. There's holiday parties. There's then there's New Year's Eve. Most people are doing things involved with family time. A lot of travel's going on. The weather's a little bit different. So then it feels like when January comes, it's now you can kind of reset, refocus. There isn't as many big events that you have to attend. You don't have to. Now you can restart and eat actually healthier meals. So that's why it actually does feel like a real reset, even though it's just another day, another month.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. All the kind of obligations of family meetups, parties, traveling to go to different houses on different sides of your family, whatever. Yeah, that's a good point. It's even if you've already started that momentum and it's not you're doing anything different going into the new year, that New Year's resolution, you've been living that out already. It still is all that kind of holiday stuff that sort of just throws everything out of whack. You're not in your normal schedule kind of thing. So, yeah, dude, I've been having pumpkin pie every night. I finally... My mom freaking buys me, dude. She bought a whole banana cream pie, which I didn't finish. That had to go. And I work out every morning, but still, that's not going to cut the pie calories down. And I've been having a slice of pumpkin pie, and I'll literally take my little tray and I go to the bed, and Samantha and I will turn on Netflix, and I literally have a little thing of whipped cream, bro, next to the bed. And Samantha looks at me like such a fat kid because I'm sitting there with my pie, and I'm like, the whipped cream can. It's it's sort of embarrassing, bro. So I'm done. The pie's finished. It's January 3rd. I'm ready to be pieless.
Good. You got to add some ice cream to that mix. Vanilla ice cream with the pumpkin pie. I can't have pumpkin pie without vanilla ice cream. You got to have it. I pretty much only have it once a year, and that's on Thanksgiving. So, but I have to have it with the vanilla ice cream, or else I'm out. The whipped cream's good, but the vanilla ice cream, it's 10 times better. So when you do that tonight, you gotta try it. You gotta try it.
I'm actually out, so I'm gonna have to go to the store and get a slice.
No, wait till next Thanksgiving. Wait till next holiday season.
Is it? Do you have I like my pumpkin pie cold in the fridge. I don't know about you listening, you guys. I like it cold, but or is it a hot? Do you do it hot or cold with the cold piece of ice cream?
Either way, I think hot. I'll do it hot because I'll only eat it during Thanksgiving and it's just fresh and ready. But even leftovers are fine because you just have the ice cream scoop on the side, then you get a bite of the pumpkin and a scoop of the ice cream. Boom, it's like magic.
Nice, man. I love it. That's wow. I learned something new today. That's, I mean, if that wasn't enough right now to hit the like button, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If not, head over to YouTube and then to leave a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're at. If that's not enough to leave a review right there with that secret for that pie goodness, then I don't know what other podcast is going to give you that right there.
I don't think any.
Come on. I don't think any. And on that note, we want to, start in that new year, a lot of new things, but at the same time, we were just talking right before we started on the podcast, if you're creating content right now, it could be a little disheartening at times with December, the end of December, January. A lot of times views are a little slower. You don't get the AdSense starts going down, right? Because advertisers were paying all this money for Black Friday and this, and advertisers were just spending. But now CPM, everything sort of views down, money down. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, the holiday season is always a tough time to get into, not even just content creation, but any business. Because let's say if you started content creation in late November, December, because you want to get a head start on the new year, you want to start posting content, but you don't get that traction that you might get in the summertime because views are just naturally down. I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years now, and it always seems like in December, views are probably the lowest of any month in the entire calendar year. But, if you don't see that traction in December or even January, January, it should slowly start to trend up your views naturally. So if you don't see a trend up from December to January, then maybe you should reevaluate what you're doing in your content. But just don't get discouraged if you're not seeing the right content in December and you are having the good output, the good quality, you're trying to innovate. But it is good. It's not a bad thing to start in December or November because you're still building a database. No matter what, if you're posting content every day, every week, you're still building that database and that portfolio of content so that it'll get out there, because it's also evergreen. Once you post content, it'll be around forever. Who knows, maybe in a month from now, then the algorithm will start pushing it out to more people. But I know a lot of people that want to start in the holiday season to get that momentum, but don't be discouraged. Just keep it up, keep it going through the next few months. And in any business, it's going to take multiple months to get the ball rolling, and then you'll see that snowball effect, that compound effect eventually as you start. Keep building and keep it going. Consistency is key.
Yeah, totally. And we were just talking about, for example, it's easy to think about, once you find that video, you find that right hook, you get the, 50,000 view video, 100,000 or a million, depending on the type of piece of content and what platform you're on, and it's easy to a lot of times our goal is to get to that end goal, or really we're just not enjoying the process, or we're not thinking about the process. Gary Vee talks a lot about this, actually, that you need to enjoy the process and less the results. The results are still great, and the results a lot of times confirm you're doing the right things, like Darren was talking about the whole hey, if you've been doing something for a month and a half and it's not working, maybe it's time to reevaluate. But there's an interesting psyche, and I don't know, Darren, we could talk about this because it's very psychological, creating content with not getting so caught up in the views and followers and subscribers. But at the same time, it's like you have two balls in your hand or something. You're juggling. But at the same time, having goals and vision and drive where you want to grow that other hand, that's views and subscribers, right? Yeah. But not being so connected to that outcome every day, where if you have some days where maybe you're not getting that growth you want, you don't get so caught up in your head and discouraged and down where it's you want to stop, or you just become miserable doing it. Darren, that's very hard.
Yeah, if you're not enjoying the process overall, you're never going to have the consistency and the long-term output that you'd want in content. Sure, there's some people that have caught a trend and maybe they want to push out that trend as much as they can, so they're going to be grinding and just overdoing it for a couple months. But as long as they know that they're not going to be able to keep up a certain thing in a year, 2 years time, which in content creation you might not be able to, because algorithms are always changing, the way that, trends are always changing, different things are being pushed out. So it's not a bad thing to just go all in a certain period of time. Like right now, you go all in on shorts is a good time because it's never been easier to grow. I'll bet you the next 2 months are going to be huge for shorts now that the holiday season's over, now that they're going to be starting to monetize. But even if you don't see that traction right away, you should never quit. From personal experience, we both go through this, obviously, making content. So, I don't see the views that I want on my Instagram. Tony doesn't see the views that he wants on his TikTok, but that doesn't mean that we're going to completely quit. We're going to keep doing it, keep innovating, and keep trying new things, and learning from you guys, other people out there on the internet, other YouTubers, people that are where we want to be as well. And so it's just it's a long-term game. I mean, as long as you like doing it and you can do it every day, you can see yourself doing it every day, I think that's very important in the content creation space specifically.
Yeah, I agree. You have to enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, you're just not going to stick with it. And that's really like anything in life. But I think this generation, being a content creator, is now being like, back in the day, like you were a rock star. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of that level where, maybe 20 years ago, like people wanted to be actors or, more mainstream kind of celebrities. And now the content creators are the celebrities. So it's sort of crazy, but content creation's not for everyone, or there might be different levels you might be doing it at, I think in a sense, content creation is for everyone, because if you have a business or you're doing something, there's no better way to get your message out. So in a way, I do think it's for everyone, but maybe, you know what I mean, Darren, do you get what I'm sort of saying right now? It's very like, there's like content creators, and then there's people who like do it as a form of marketing. I
mean, no matter what, I understand what you're trying to say. It's not it is for everyone in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're a guy who likes to be on camera. Maybe you're a guy who likes to be involved with something behind the scenes. There are several people doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in content creation that are never even on screen. You don't know what their face looks like. You don't know what they sound like. There are many different niches to get into that still involve putting content out, getting views. There's a lot of like gamers, streamers, people that post. You ever seen those videos where people post just Reddit questions, and then it's just like a Siri voice talking, and they get hundreds of thousands of views. I know personally people that run a business where they have people under them just like typing up or getting these certain Reddit forms that are, or from Reddit forums that are pretty popular. They get a lot of thumbs up or whatnot, and they just post a video on YouTube of it reading the Reddit forms, and they can post those multiple times a day because it's all just on the computer, and they can get hundreds of thousands of views a day from these without even showing their face. It's all just computer work, and they're making tons of money off them. I know people personally that do that. So, there's back end things you can do in content. You could be involved with a corporation, a big company, and like you said, be involved in the marketing side of it. And just everything really is marketing when it comes to business, and all that marketing will come from mainly content creation and just coming up with new things. There are big companies that have brand new strategies. Every company has to have a brand new strategy now from what they were doing 10 years ago. Have you seen what like Cinnabon's TikTok has been doing lately? It's insane. Like they are going off on TikTok, and there's just companies like that, companies that you've known for 10, 20 years that are just that you think of as a random store at the mall. Cinnabon, I'd go to Cinnabon after having a meal at the mall back in middle school or whatnot, and now I see their TikToks of them just posting very cinematic videos, nice trends. So they try to keep up with the times. You got to do that in any space, and there's a whole team behind that think, oh, why don't we get on TikTok and post trends so maybe we can get more attention, more traction. Doesn't matter how big the company is, you can still have room for improvement. No company is too big to get on certain platforms to try to draw views, to draw attention. I'll bet you there's a lot of kids that don't even know what Cinnabon is, and they come across it, they see a really cool, funny TikTok or whatnot, and then they'd want to ask their parents to go to the mall and grab one of those delicious cinnamon rolls for dinner that night. So it is interesting, but there's a lot of ways to to get into the content game, marketing game, and it's just business overall. And I feel like everyone kind of has to learn about it in one form or another.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think you have the content creation world is so big where there's so many different kinds of creators, where if you want to do a podcast with your face, or you could just do audio, like Darren said, you could be the back end, regardless if you have an interest in it, it's a skill that if you learn, man, it's invaluable because most companies are ran by boomers, people who are in their 50s plus sort of rule the world. But like this skill of creating content and knowing what's trending and what's working, and then a company like Cinnabon, like I literally just looked at their TikTok. It's amazing. Simple clips of like rolling out the dough, just quick clips of the process of making it, got 1 million views. Okay, that's insane. Free advertising. So there's so many different ways you can go with that. And when I was talking to Darren, I was like, it's hard sometimes when you're creating content because you're wondering, okay, is this for me? Is this going to work? And I remember when I first started, doing like short form content, like last year on Instagram, and I had 0 followers. And it was one of those things, it was just like a passion where I'm like, I love doing this. I love telling people about this subject matter. So I'm just going to do it and not care about the views. And literally, I think it was 3 months of posting 3 times a day, daily, Monday through Sunday, before I got something that got like tens of thousands of views. It was a steady climb of 5 views, 10 views, 50 views, 100 views. And like a lot of times people don't, you don't see the climb people had to do to get where they're at now. Mm-hmm. You just see like once they're already big. So then it's like, it almost seems elusive. Like it's like some unicorn, like, whoa, how did they pop off? Like, what's the secret? Well, if you spend months doing it, and I like Hermosi, you probably heard him say this. He's like, if you want something so bad, do such an unreasonable amount of work to make that happen, where if you do that much work to get that result or just to do it, like it would be almost impossible for you to fail. And I think that's one of the best things, right, to do with content creation.
I just watched that before I went to sleep last night. I just saw that video. It's crazy.
It was good, right? Because it just sometimes it just comes down to the work. Yeah. Like putting the reps in and not being discouraged, where if it doesn't happen in the first 3, 5, 6 months, if you want it bad enough, man, like it's a wide open playing field.
It is crazy. Yeah. He says like, set a goal and do the amount of work, like 10 times the amount of work to get to that goal, to where it would be impossible for you to not achieve that in the next 6 months. It makes sense, but you got to always play devil's avocado here. Like you got to know that there's burnout. There's obvious burnout that people can experience, especially people that aren't used to being an entrepreneur and aren't used to experiencing, 18-hour work days or whatever it may be. So even though you have the goal you want to do, you want to post 20 videos a day, like if you hear that video and you're a 19-year-old kid that's like, okay, if I want to make it, I need to post 30 videos every day for the next 4 months, But that is unreasonable. Maybe you might be able to do it for a day, but then 2 days later, you're like, all right, well, I'm only getting 20 views on each video. I'm going to now go to the bar. I don't know. Go to the dog park. Like, I don't know. Just do whatever.
You just want to quit. Yeah. You want to
do something else.
Thyself.
You're like, all right, yeah, content is not for me, and I'm burnt out on this, because you'll burn out on anything if you're going too hard. I mean, some people are just wired differently. Truly, I feel like you have to learn and know yourself. Everyone is different. Some people can put in 3 hours a day of hard work and then enjoy the rest of the day doing whatever. And if they're productive, if they feel like they accomplished their goal for the day, then that's good. That works for some people. Then other people, like Gary, he said he can work 18 hours a day without fail for decades on decades, which is what he's done. But also he says he missed out on his 20s. He never went on one vacation in 15 years from when he was 20 to 35. So I mean, if you want to live that life and sacrifice decades of your life and not do anything for your personal life and just have it all be dedicated to work, then you can do that. But there are still ways to get to where you want to be by figuring out your balance, because everyone has their own specific balances. And I think that just comes with doing it every day, being an entrepreneur for as long as possible, trying new things, and just got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. Something I'm curious about, Darren, how long did it take for you on TikTok to start getting like real views? How many videos do you think you posted? Of course, TikTok was a very, very different place when you started to where it is now, because there was so many people watching and there wasn't a lot of content. So creators were getting just crazy views because there just wasn't enough content to meet that demand of viewership. But still, how long did it take where you started? And then maybe even YouTube, you could say that as well. Like how many weeks did you go where you felt like, oh, is this even going to work? Or I really want to hear, and I think it would be helpful for everyone just who's creating.
Right. Well, I never felt like, is this going to work? Like, I really never feel like that in anything I do. Like, because if you think like, is this going to work? Then it's not. You know, you have to think.
True. You're already like 1 foot out.
You're not. If you're not all in, then it's not going to work out for you. It's like with everything that I've done in any business that I've started, it's always just like, this will work in a month, 2 months. Like I'll set goals, and if it doesn't, then I'll do something different. I'll go harder on it. I'll do more of something. But I mean, on TikTok specifically, like it probably took 4 or 5 months of just like slowly getting views, you know, until like on TikTok how it works then, and even how it works still, is you'll get one video that goes viral, and that's how you'll get 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers. So once I started getting like a video or two that had 1 million views, I get 10,000 followers from one video, 20,000 from another video, and that's just how it slowly snowballs. And then once you get a few viral videos going for you, that's when the dopamine starts hitting, and then you're like, that's when it starts getting fun. Then you'll see some views, and it's addicting, you know, to get the views like that. You want to keep going harder and get more viral videos, make bigger videos. So once you get the first like 10,000 followers, then that's when it starts becoming like a game, and you want to post bigger and better content. So, but it's not overnight for any account. Even though you see some people blowing up in a month, like that's not how 99.9% of channels work. You're not seeing all the accounts that are getting 10 views a day, because that's why they're getting 10 views a day, because you're not seeing them. You're only seeing the people that are getting millions. And so that's why it's hard to just be scrolling on social media, judging your content after all you're looking at all day is other people that are doing multiple millions of views. That's why social media is dangerous, because you can't judge your content off these mega influencers and like how far ahead they are of you at that specific moment in time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, because even, you know, all the time before you even went to TikTok, you were making all the videos on your YouTube channel. That's like same thing for me, you know, even though I was making real estate related videos, you know, I was learning how to use a camera. I was learning how mics work and audio and editing in Premiere Pro. And I was learning, you know, you're picking up all these things along the way. So then even though I was talking about something completely different on TikTok and Instagram, like totally different subject, everything, you know, those skills come to help you, you know? So it's like all that time you spend, and that's why it's good just putting in the reps for a while when you first get started. And really, like Darren always says, you know, when you first start a channel on YouTube, it's like, he says for the first few months, like, don't even look at your analytics. Like, just learn how to make videos, learn how to make content, because like when you have like 5 subscribers, like it's hard to even know like you can't look at audience retention and like key metrics like click-through rate and stuff, because there's not enough just like views even coming into your channel to be able to even assess that.
Yeah, if you have 90 views, what does a click-through rate even mean? Like 3 people watched it all the way through, and then 10 people clicked off in 1 second. It's like it really doesn't matter. Just make better content before you start judging your content, you know, just make more also.
Yeah, because it's so easy just to start judging yourself in this game. And like, it's just, I don't know what it is, because it's like everybody's rankings are so public. Like the scoreboard for social media and followings and views, it's so public, where like I feel like if you're just a normal entrepreneur and you have like a car dealership or just some kind of business, like, yeah, you might compare yourself to another business that's more successful. So, but a lot of times, like, you don't really know the kind of like sales they're having or what they're doing. But I mean, in Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, whatever niche you're in, you know, the top creators, and it's just like, bang, there's the views they're getting, or you know, someone who is at your level, just like, you know, they start, you know, a month after you do, and they just pass you up. Like, it's so easy, but in the big picture, right? Like, you don't realize it's just like, and I think Mr. Beast, or Mr. Beast, Darren,
there
like,
he is.
A lot of the people who maybe start after you and become even more successful than you, like a year or two from now, they're not even going to be around.
Yeah,
because people just stop doing this.
And this is why I feel like TikTok is actually no, that's hard. But why, like, TikTok is probably the one platform where you can scroll on your For You. And this is why it's easier to grow on TikTok than most other platforms. Yeah. It's the one platform that you can scroll on your For You page and see content creators that are getting one like. Like, you're going to scroll and see, oh, one like. Why am I getting that video? But on Instagram and YouTube, like, go to your YouTube recommended page right now and look at the 8 videos that it shows you. All of those videos are have thousands and thousands of views, if not millions right now. Yeah. You know, refresh. You're not going to get any videos that are recommended to you with like 3 views on YouTube, whereas on TikTok, you're getting that all the time. And that's why creators can blow up quick from shorts right now, because all the time you're just seeing videos that are getting no views. And if people click on it and watch the whole thing, comment, interact, engage with it, then it's going to be pushed out to more and more people. You get 1 million views on your first video ever on TikTok. And I mean, Instagram's kind of the same as YouTube, where you're really scrolling and you're only seeing, well, these days now you're only seeing things that are pushed out to you. But before, you know, when you scroll, you see your friends, you'd see whoever else that are getting a lot of engagement, and the algorithms all work the same now. I miss when Instagram was just in chronological order. I thought they were going back to that, actually, but I don't remember. I don't know what happened over there. But yeah, you know, it's all just algorithms now. So
yeah, exactly. And that's one of the keys on all these platforms is like engagement and having a good call to action or a good hook, or, you know, being memorable, you know, sticking out. Like, you know, you see like Ryan Pineda, he like has the different colored, he's like, if you don't know who he is, he's like, I don't know, real estate guy, wholesaling, flipping, finance, like just entrepreneur. And he has like different colored hair, you know, because that helps him stick out. So, you know, be really memorable and have opinions and be different and be unique and have, you know, because it's just, there's so many people doing it, that's so easy just to blend in to all the noise. You know, so I think creators just have to be, you know, more creative to really stick out and start getting, and then it's like, even, you know, people think, well, I'm boring, but there's someone for everyone. So that's why a lot of this game is just consistency and doing it for years on end, because that's almost even more of the secret than trying to create the next viral post. I mean, because a lot of times, like, well, if I just have the right hook, if I just do the right green screen effect with the right clip behind me, all right? And a lot of times it's just enough post, and then it's just like, all right, you get your shot, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone will get their shot if everyone can get their shot if they put in the right work, the right amount of effort, the right amount of learning, studying, also viewing content. You know, you got to consume content to understand how it works as well, which is why we're on YouTube, because we've been watching YouTube for a long, long time. But I want to talk about someone that is the most followed person on Instagram, actually, which is kind of crazy. The most followed person on Instagram, you know who that is?
I'm guessing that it's like The Rock or a Kardashian.
Okay.
Or
okay.
Who else would it be?
Good guesses. Those aren't bad guesses. I think they both have over, or not. Yeah, I think all the Kardashians have
Justin
over 200
Bieber.
million followers. I think The Rock probably has 300 million followers. But the guy who has the most followers on Instagram, and it's been the most for a while actually, is Cristiano Ronaldo. So he has 528 million followers on Instagram, right?
Jeez, dude.
Which is not bad. You know,
that's more than countries.
Yeah,
it's more than the United States population.
It is.
Are you kidding me?
And so he's getting, like, looking at his Instagram now, he's getting 30 million likes a post pretty much, which is
my goodness,
pretty absurd. But I wanted to bring him up because, you know, it pays to be a well-known, recognized figure. Yes, he's a great soccer player, but also what makes him unique to where he just signed the biggest deal in sports history recently this week at it's trying to pull up the exact numbers here, but it was upwards of over $200 million per year.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's insane, dude. Are you kidding me? There's different articles, but it's like 500 million euro deal. I mean, all kinds of, but 200 million a year. Wow, with in Saudi Arabia, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And he just landed like today or something, so it's been pretty worldwide, and you know, I don't think he's like the greatest football soccer player of all time, but he has that brand, he has the look, he has the energy that people like. He's been doing it for a while, and there's always just something about the personality of a person that will get them paid more money. And you see this in all sports, I feel like in baseball and basketball, when there can be one player that is a little bit more energetic or has you know, that passion in them more than another player, but they might not be as good as them, but they'll get paid more money by the league because they have that personality that will bring people to the games. They'll sell tickets. So it's not necessarily, so it's also about the brand. Yeah. That's why brands are so important, and why I think it's important also if you're a professional athlete to get content out there, unless you like keeping it low key. There's a lot of guys that just like keeping low key, don't like being too much on the news. They want to keep their families out of social media. They're already doing well with the money they're making, but if they really want to get to the next level, it's still, even in their level of being a professional athlete, about building a brand around them as a person, which is why he got paid. He's not getting paid because he has the most goals of all time. He's getting paid because of who he is.
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, if you look at his Instagram, you control what the public sees, you know, so he doesn't have to have photos of him and his family in it if he doesn't want. You know, he had like a picture with him and Jordan Peterson, and it was sort of cool. Jordan Peterson said in the top comment, "I've never met anyone who's like deserved as much like success that you have," or whatever, basically saying you're like deserving of everything you've done in your life. That was cool. So, you know, you control, and Gary says this a lot because he doesn't have his family, you know, in the public eye. You know, you control what the public sees, you know, so that's something to really think about, you know, as you start creating content. You're like, you know, if you want things private, you can, but I don't know, Darren, do you think he would have gotten the contract that he received for $200 million a year if he wasn't as famous as he is now?
No, not even close. If he only had 1 million followers on Instagram, if he didn't have an Instagram but was still a great soccer player, he would probably get like 30 million a year or something, you know, a great amount for someone in his industry. Yeah. But he's not getting 200 million a year if he doesn't have 500 million followers and this many fans all around the world. You know, there are guys like, for example, there's a guy, Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers, who is one of the best NBA players out there, but he's the most low-key guy where he will say 2 words in interviews. He doesn't really talk much, and he doesn't have an Instagram. So he doesn't really have a big personality. When he smiles, that goes on the news. That goes worldwide on Twitter when he cracks a smile, you know. So like a guy like him, even though he has won a ring and he's done all these great things in the sport, he's not going to get the kind of money that LeBron James will get, even if he gets to his level in statistics, honestly, because of what he's doing outside of the game, you know, of what he's doing online in content. And this was different years ago but still in a way the same. You know, if there's a guy that you see has more grit out there, they're going to get paid a little bit more. But with that drive, with that passion, being who you are as a person, gaining a following is still important, even at the highest level of professional athletes.
Yeah, and I found out, like, while you were talking, I was looking at something. You gave me some ideas. So I was looking at Ronaldo's Instagram, right? So this guy has 528 million followers, and he's made 3,417 posts, okay? So I want to show that it's actually not just that, like, this fame came from nowhere. I mean, obviously, he's like soccer's a football. Yeah. It's a worldwide sport. And he's like obviously an incredible player. But I want to show you how actually the amount of posts he has on his Instagram and the amount of work either he's done or his team has done on his Instagram has directly influenced the amount of followers he has, like, clearly. So you're going to like this, bro. This is really, really interesting. So Ronaldo, 3,417 posts. LeBron James, 1,000 less. Exactly. 2,417 posts. 141 million followers. Okay. So 141 million followers. Ronaldo has 500 million, but Ronaldo has another 1,000 posts. In social media is very, like, exponential, where really the more posts you do, it builds on top of one another, and it just snowballs, compounding effect. So Maria Sharapova, the famous tennis player, 1,800 posts. 4 million followers. So doesn't always translate. Yeah. But then you have Lewis Hamilton, 31 million followers, 1,300 posts. David Beckham, 76 million followers, 1,600 posts. Roger Federer, only 432 posts with 11 million followers, with only 400 posts. Gotcha. Mike Tyson, 1,200 posts, 19 million followers. Shaq,
these are a lot of posts.
33,670 posts with 28 million followers. So 200 more than Ronaldo, but a few hundred million.
Go to Russell Westbrook's posts and followers, and then tell me what.
So obviously, let's see. So Russell Westbrook. Wow, 0 posts in 21 million followers.
Yeah, now he used to post a lot. I'll bet you he had over 1,000, and then he deleted them all. But still, yeah.
So the lesson to be learned, even though Ronaldo would probably obviously be super famous, he's put in the work, or his team has put in the work in his Instagram. Don't you find that interesting that he has almost more posts than any other celebrity athlete out there? And he's getting the biggest contract. Can there be a correlation? This plays totally into the hypothesis you were saying here at the beginning about followers. That's crazy.
Well, one thing I think is that for people that are at the most followed people on social media, such as him, I'll bet you he started Instagram almost before anyone. Like, I'll bet you he started in 2008 or not. Like, well, I don't know, whenever people were barely getting on Instagram, probably he was already, like a famous soccer player at that time. So he was, and on the come up, I think he's like 35, 6 or something right now. So he was probably 20, just getting into, just becoming a major star in his early 20s, and just getting on Instagram, posting a lot early. And that's what, like, the Jenners are doing. They're early in reality. So now they're at the top in Instagram followers. So also having it for 10 plus years and then going hard for 10 plus years does a lot. A lot of these people with 20 plus million followers probably could have started like 5-6 years ago and going hard. But, definitely him having his team behind him since he was just a rookie in the league, I'm sure they were telling him, like, this is what you got to do in the future. And it's always great having, he definitely didn't do it on his own. I'm sure he's a super smart guy, but still, like, there's got to be people around him telling him, like, this is what you got to be doing. So,
yeah, it's really cool. Neymar's another one. Neymar has even more posts than Ronaldo. Ronaldo had 3,700 posts. Neymar has 5,403, but he has 200 million followers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, these soccer players get more followers than anyone. And that's just because, and I don't really think posting is that big of an issue, big of a correlation for it, because it is a little bit if you're already in the public eye getting your viewership elsewhere, like a guy like any YouTuber is only getting their viewership when they post, but a guy that's a professional athlete, they're getting their viewership every time they have a game because it's on TV, broadcasted to millions. And of course, soccer is the number one sport in the
Nike.
world. Yeah, I mean, when soccer being the number one sport in the world, they are, there's always tons of eyeballs on the screen, and they're being shown by not only themselves, but ESPN is posting them every day, SportsCenter is posting them every day, Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, like all these huge sports accounts that also have tens of millions of followers are posting them, tagging them, getting them all this attention every time they do something big, every game they have. So that's how they're getting their following. It's not only coming from an organic reach on Instagram when they post a reel. That doesn't have they probably are getting a little bit of it, but people are probably seeing them from other platforms. I don't follow Ronaldo because I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but like I've seen him on all these other apps. I know who he is because of what else is out there. So it's not necessarily just coming from him, which is cool about being in an industry like sports, because content is how anyone knows who these sports players are in the first place from the game that they're playing on TV. So I think that's cool that they can get the viewership from elsewhere and not just personally them, because they're not content creators, but they are known because of content that we watch on the screen as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think it's just, I find it funny though that some of these biggest accounts with the most followers, even though they already got all the fame from in press and publicity from so many other places, they are going harder than all the other athletes, which is funny. That's true. It's like, and I think it's a funny world we're living in, because, and we've spoken about this, how like, I think a lot of the mainstream kind of celebrities felt like, this is years ago where they felt like they didn't need to do Instagram and all these things because they're already famous. But then they see like people like Mr. Beast, like this kid from the middle of nowhere, become one of the most famous people in the world, So now everyone's like, oh shoot, like everyone needs to be doing social media.
Yeah.
Because that's where the eyeballs are.
And one thing that has always irked me about professional athletes and social media is that baseball has this clause. I haven't looked into it in a while, but there's this clause to where players could not post anything really on their social media because they're like bought out by a specific company. I forgot exactly what the deal was, so they weren't really allowed to put out their personalities online because their social media was strictly controlled. So the best player in baseball, Mike Trout, only has 1.9 million followers on Instagram, but he's not the most. He doesn't have the most followers of anyone on Instagram, but still, like a guy like him needs to have 20 million followers minimum. He's the best player in baseball, really, almost not even a debate. And so it's a little disappointing that the game isn't growing to as much as like basketball would grow, where LeBron has over 100 million followers and he's LeBron, But I mean, a guy like Alex Rodriguez, who what's a baseball name that Tommy?
I just know like the old ones, like Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa, and
exactly.
A-Rod and
right. So A-Rod has 4 million followers, and he's still big. He's a big broadcaster on ESPN now, and he posts a lot, like 2,200 posts, 4 million followers. But still, I feel like that should be a lot more, for being Alex Rodriguez. He's a very well-known name. He should be in the 20 million plus. And that's just because baseball's not doing as good as a job as NFL and the NBA at socially growing the game. They've been better in the last 4 years or so, but before that, they were really strict on how they were going about content. Also, MLB on YouTube wasn't even a thing for a while. There was a long time where you weren't allowed to have any Major League Baseball content on YouTube. You couldn't post it at all. I used to post videos in 2007, 2008 at MLB games, and it would get copyrighted and taken down instantly. I know someone who, quick little story about a YouTuber. This is back in my golden age of when I was in the YouTube space. So I had season tickets. Me and my dad had season tickets for Dodger games in the left field bleachers. It was always fun to catch home run balls over there. And there's this guy who would film in the bleachers, and this is kind of the reason why we got season tickets, because of this YouTuber. His name is Dodger Films. He would go to every Dodger game, sit in the bleachers, front row, film the whole game like this. He would have his glove in his left hand, camera in his right hand. He would film the whole game and commentate the game, but like edit it so he'd get all the highlights, and then there were characters in the videos. He'd have his other season ticket holders surrounding him. So there's about 4 or 5 characters in each of his videos, and he would post every single Dodger home game for maybe 4 or 5 years, 2007, 8, 9, 2007, 8, 9, 10, let's say, and he probably got close to close to 500,000, maybe a little less subscribers during that time period, right? Yeah. And then one day, it might have been in 2000, let's say 13 or so, where the Dodger Stadium in MLB completely shut him down. They said, you are not allowed to film at any more games. You're too famous now, and you're getting too many views.
So
then they started demonetizing him, and he went through this whole lawsuit. He stopped going to games, and so now he has 500,000 followers and hundreds of videos. I used to watch those videos all the time. That was why we got season tickets in the bleachers. We used to go there because it looked so fun, what they were doing every day at the games, all the characters around him. They were famous. People would be taking photos with them as fans in the stands, which was really cool. And so then he had to, reanalyze his content, which what he started doing was making softball videos with a bunch of different people who then became famous for being in his videos. Now he has over 1 million subscribers. But that's just one thing that I remember, that the MLB shutting down content, and he had this big following. He was doing a great thing. They were doing very wholesome content, just being fans at baseball games, which was such a cool channel back then. And then they shut him down, and he doesn't even go to games anymore. He just works on his other YouTube videos and stuff. And that was one thing that was like, okay, MLB does not know what the direction that content and social media is heading. So it was very disappointing for people that were fans of him back 10 years ago or so. But he has a new audience now. He's doing those softball videos, a little younger audience and based around that stuff. But yeah, I mean, these big corporations now you're allowed to film at games. So if he was doing it now, it'd be a little different. But they changed over time, and you can film at games and stuff now. So, I mean, every big corporation, even the major leagues, will change their views eventually once they see how things go in society, how things change and innovate over time.
Yeah, and that's really funny, how restrictive they've been and how short-sighted and just with social media and stuff. And can you imagine the difference if, things were unrestricted, like baseball, like basketball, or soccer, and how much more of an audience would that be bringing if all these players were allowed to just post on their social media? And it's free advertising for the MLB. It's stupid. Exactly. It creates this community. That guy was in essence creating a community of Dodger fans and people who love the game. And that's the best thing you could ever have as a business or a brand. It's people who form communities around it. And to stop that is that is so stupid.
It was ridiculous. Those videos were so fun, just showing the good times they were having at the game, showing the highlights, and that's what made me get season tickets out there in the bleachers. Me and my dad would probably go to 30 games a year during those years. And so that was, great experience. And then they had to shut it down. Those videos were great. And he deleted all the videos from his channel too. So that was sad. But yeah, no, it'd be cool in the bleachers because he would film and then catch a home run ball during a game. Then you'd see it on TV and be like, that's Dodger Films. And that's why everyone loved those videos too, because it was very unique and a cool experience coming from a fan that went to every game and just lived that life. So Yeah, it is. I mean, it's good to see that they're changing eventually over time, but back then it was a different story.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where everyone, in the next few years, we'll see what happens this year. What brands take social media, what brands don't, who are the new creators that come up on the rise, and just everything. See what happens in the whole space this year. I think it's going to be exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. One more thing before we end up wrapping this up. There's one thing I've been scrolling a lot of Twitter lately, a lot more, probably in the last couple weeks, more than I have in the last few years. And I don't know why. I think some of it has to do with the new, they just implemented views on Twitter. Do you ever?
Wow.
So now I look at Twitter and it's pretty crazy. You just scroll through the tweets and you see 10 million views, 5 million views. It's like views, retweets, likes, shares, whatever. There's a lot going on now, and I think views, personally to me, that added a lot to Twitter. I'm on there a lot now lately because it's cool to see how many views, and a view on a tweet. What is that? You just scroll. You could scroll by 20 tweets, and they all get a view from you. So there's a lot going on there now, and it is cool that they just implemented that. I noticed pretty recently.
Yeah. That is really cool. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about Twitter a lot in the next few, weeks.
Yeah, maybe. It's not out of the question. Maybe we get a Twitter and start posting our reels on there. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. Good point. Who knows?
I'm sure Twitter will veer more into videos and stuff. So
totally.
So yeah, we'll end up seeing, but we need we're gonna need some more editors and help with posting on another platform. There's a lot out there.
I know. There comes the point where you're like, okay, this is just sort of this is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that Elon posted on December 30th, the little thing of the Matrix.
Let me see here.
Was that right when Andrew Tate got arrested? What if I told you the only way to escape the Matrix is to unlearn everything that you've been taught and rebuild your entire life?
Wait, when did you post this?
And Andrew Tate reposted it. Elon Musk, December 30th. You could see he posted that.
Oh, the picture.
Yeah, the picture.
What if I told you the only way to escape the Matrix is to unlearn everything that you have been taught and rebuild your entire belief system based on critical thought and analysis? Interesting.
Yeah,
wow, some to think about. But yeah, you're scrolling through Elon's tweets now, you see 50 million views, 30 million views, 13 million. It's pretty crazy how many just views there you get on Twitter, scrolling. But Elon's last tweet of 2022, pretty important tweet here, says, "Sometimes it's just better to make pizza at home."
There you go.
And that's how he ends the year.
It's profound. As he's sending rockets to space.
Exactly. All right. Well, we talked about a whole lot of things on this podcast today. Mm-hmm. A lot into the content creation in the sports world. There's a lot going on there. So
yeah.
Mix
it up a little.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Tom?
I think we covered it, man. I think that was good episode. We got some different thing. I hope this was different topics for you today. The sports one was interesting. That's fun, So like before, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube. Helps us a lot. Give a like. Also, wherever you're listening on whatever podcast platform, if you leave a review and whatever you could do there, that would be a big help. Help us grow this year so we can help more content creators just get their voice out there, get their message out there to reach more people.
Yeah, we are learning along this year with you guys too. You guys can learn something from us. We can learn something from you guys when you comment down below. If you learn anything from this video at all, if you enjoyed it at all, hit the like button. Leave a review like Tommy said. It's cool to see reviews from everyone out there. We're getting a lot of big videos, a lot of good guests coming on in the future. We'll have that coming soon down the road, and that is pretty much it. Subscribe, like, we'll say it again more times till you do it. See you guys on the next one.
Later.